In the last few lectures, I have introduced the concepts of counting. We had the fundamental principles of counting such as addition principle, the multiplication principle, and then the number of ordered permutations, that is ordered subsets and ordered arrangements, and the combinations, that is the number of unordered arrangements taking from a certain set or certain number of distinct items. Today, I will solve firstly a few problems on this topics, and then we will introduce a few more concepts in combinatorics. So, let me start with some of the problems. Let us take this problem. This is from one of the question papers of joint entrance examination 2014. So, let n be an integer take n distinct points on a circle and join each pair of adjacent points by blue and the rest by red. So, if the number of red and blue line segments are equal, then find the value of n. So, let me read the problem again. We take n distinct points on a circle and the adjacent pair of points we join by blue line segment and the remaining one we join by red. And suppose these red and blue line segments are same in number, then what is the value of n? Let me describe through a diagram. So, suppose we consider a circle and there are points on it. So, this point and so on. So, we have points here. Now, this adjacent points we are joining by blue. So, like this will be joined by blue, this will be joined by blue, this will be joined by blue and so on. So, these are all adjacent, they will be joined by blue. Like that you can keep, and the remaining one we join by red. So, let me use a red marker here and so we can join this by red, this will be joined by red, this will be joined by red, etcetera. So, these are all, that means, if they are not adjacent, then we join them by red. Now, let me do the elementary counting here. So, if there are n points, then if you join them, there will be exactly n line segments. So, there are n line segments joining adjacent points. So, the number of blue line segments, that is n. Now, if we join all the points, the total number of line segments Okay. So, how will you count that? There are n points and if I take every 2 pair. So, that means, n C 2, because if you join A with B, then it is same as joining B with A. So, it is counted twice. So, it is basically the number of unordered arrangements of 2 taken from n. So, the total number of line segments will be n C 2, that is n into n minus 1 by 2. So, we have said that adjacent ones are n and total number is n into n minus 1 by 2. So, the remaining line segments are how many? N minus, that is n into n minus 1 by 2 minus n. So, we just write that thing. So, the number of line segments which are colored red, that is n into n minus 1 by 2 minus n. Now, it is given that n into n minus 1 by 2 minus n is equal to n, because it is written that the number of red and blue line segments are equal. So, we get this equation here, n into n minus 1 by 2 minus n is equal to n. So, of course, you can simplify this, it is equivalent to n into n minus 1 is equal to this, you take to this side. So, it becomes 4 n. So, this means that n square is equal to 5 n. So, n must be equal to 5. That means, if there are 5 points which are chosen on a circle, and if we join the adjacent points with the blue and non adjacent points with the red, and if the number is same, then there will be exactly 5 vertices or 5 points on the circle. So, this is a simple counting problem. Here we have made use of the combination, that is n C 2. Let me solve another problem, which is again from one of the JEE question papers. It is again counting in a particular way. So, let n 1 less than n 2 less than n 3 less than n 4 less than n 5 be positive integers such that n 1 plus n 2 plus n 3 plus n 4 plus n 5 is equal to 20. So, 5 integers are chosen in such a way that their sum is 20. In how many ways we can choose n 1, n 2, n 3, n 4, n 5? In how many ways n 1, n 2, n 3, n 4, n 5 can be chosen? That means satisfying these criteria. Now, we can start from the minimum. So, if we consider say assignment 1 to n 1, n 2 is equal to 2, n 3 is equal to 3, n 4 is equal to 4. Now, you see what I have done, I have chosen the smallest possible values of n 1, n 2, n 3 and n 4. So, now the remaining choice is for n 5. Now, the sum of n 1, n 2, n 3, n 4 is 10 and the total is 20. Therefore, it is mandatory that n 5 has to be 10. So, now we make little bit flexibility, we take another option smallest n 1, smallest n 2, smallest n 3. Now, in n 4 we have already taken the smallest one. So, now what is the next one? So, the next smallest can be 5. If we do that, then n 5 becomes 9, because we have increased this by 1. So, this has to be decreased by 1. Now, let us take another option. We still keep n 1, n 2, n 3 to be the smallest, and I again enhance n 4 by 1, that is we make it 6, then this will become 8. Now, you can see with the smallest n 1, n 2, n 3, these are the only possibilities of n 4, n 5, because in the next step suppose I make n 4 to be 7, then n 5 will also become 7. So, which will violate this condition that n 4 is less than n 5. So, with the smallest value of n 1, n 2 and n 3, we have 3 possibilities. Now, let us take smallest n 1, n 2 and with n 3 I take the flexibility. So, smallest n 1, n 2 is 1 2 and then with n 3 in place of 3 I take 4, that is the next one. So, now let us take the next smallest for n 4, that is 5. So, now how many values we have exhausted, that is 12. So, n 5 can be only 8, that is the only possibilities. Now, with the same one, if I choose second value for n 4, that is 1 2 4 and this 5 I make 6, that is the next smallest, then how many values are exhausted. So, we have taken 7 plus 6 13. So, n 5 can be only 7 to make n 1 plus n 2 plus n 3 plus n 4 plus n 5 is equal to 20. Again you can see that these are the only possibilities if I choose n 1 and n 2 to be the smallest and n 3 to be the next smallest, that is from 3 we have taken to the 4 value, no other possibility is there. Now, let us take smallest n 1 and second smallest n 2, that means in place of 2 I make it 3. Now, let us take, if I take the smallest n 3, that is 4, smallest n 5, that is n 4, that is 5. So, now you have 13. So, the next value can be only 7, that is the only possibility. Now, in the next one if I make this to be 6, then this will also become 6. So, that will violate n 4 less than n 5. So, with 1 3, that is smallest n 1 and the next smallest value of n 2, I have only one option. Now, let us take the next one. So, now we have exhausted all the options in which n 1 is the smallest. In the first one I took n 1, n 2, n 3, n 4 to be the smallest. In the next one I took n 1, n 2, n 3 to be the smallest and n 4 to be the next smallest, and the same thing is in the third arrangement also. Then we took n 1 and n 2 to be the smallest and for n 3 I took the next smallest. So, 4 value was taken. With that again we can see that there are 3 possible arrangements. Now, since here only in the last one only n 1 is the smallest and all others are slightly bigger than the smallest, therefore, the next option should be to go for the second value of n 1. So, second value of n 1 we can take to be 2 and then we take 3, 4, 5 and 6 as the values for n 2, n 3, n 4 and n 5. You can see easily that this sum is directly equal to 20. Therefore, now there is no other possibility of increasing any other number, that means, I can't make any of the n 2, n 3, n 4, n 5 to be any other choice other than this. So, this is exhausting all the possibilities of choosing n 1, n 2, n 3, n 4 and n 5 in such a way that n 1 is less than n 2 is less than n 3 is less than n 4 is less than n 5 and the sum of all the integers is equal to 20. So, we have total number of ways that is equal to 7, total 7 arrangements are there. So, the purpose of these problems is that we can actually solve or you can say find solutions in the integers. These are normally in number theory called partition problems or the Diophantine equations, etcetera. So, basically here also counting is required, sometimes we use the permutation combination and sometimes direct counting is required. Let me give one or two other problems also of the similar nature. Let x, y, z be integers satisfying system of homogeneous equations 3x minus y minus z is equal to 0, minus 3x plus z is equal to 0, minus 3x plus 2 y plus z is equal to 0. Find the number of such points for which x square plus y square plus z square is less than or equal to 100. So, let us observe, if we look at this equation number say 1 and 2 and I add these two, then I will get only y is equal to 0, or if I take say second and third and I subtract, then I get y is equal to 0. So, immediately it is clear that y is 0. So, here y is 0. Now, if you put y is equal to 0, then we get z is equal to 3 x. So, you actually have an infinite number of solutions in general, if we can allow all the values of x and z. But here we have the condition that they are integers as well as the sum of squares has to be less than or equal to 100. Now, here since y is equal to 0, you are having only the condition that x square plus z square is less than or equal to 100. So, what are the pairs? Here you are having z as 3 times x. So, only possible pairs for x, y, z. So, they are not pairs, basically 3 tuples for x, y, z they are. So, obviously 0 0 0 is one solution, and then you can have x is equal to 1. So, z will become 3, and whatever value you take, you can take the negative of that also. So, minus 1 0 minus 3 will also be one of the solutions, and then you can have 2 0 6. So, therefore, minus 2 0 minus 6 and 3 0 9, and therefore, minus 3 0 minus 9. Let us look at the sum of squares here. With the last one, it is becoming 3 square is 9 plus 9 square is 81. So, it is 90. The next one, if I take 4, so 4 0 12. Now, 12 square becomes 144. So, that will violate this condition x square plus y square less than or equal to 100. So, these are the only possible solutions. So, the total number of solutions, that is integer solutions, is 7. So, again you can see that the partition problems, the solutions in integers, that is the Diophantine equations, are also basically problems in combinatorics. Let us take another problem, which is a permutation problem. This is again from one of the JEE question papers. 3 boys and 2 girls stand in a queue. In how many ways they can be arranged so that the number of boys ahead of every girl is at least one more than the number of girls ahead of her. So, here the boys and girls they will be identifiable. So, we can give some identification to them. So, let boys be B 1, B 2, B 3 and girls there are two girls G 1 and G 2. So, basically we have to place them in a queue. So, that means they are standing in a sequence here. Now, let us look at the placements here which will satisfy this condition. We can have following so, we have to keep track of the condition. So, let us look at this. Suppose I consider G 1, G 2, B 1, B 2, B 3. That means, firstly 2 girls are standing and then 3 boys are standing. So, now let us look at ahead of G 1 you have 1 girl and 3 boys. So, the condition that the number of boys ahead of every girl is at least 1 more than the number of girls ahead of her. So, ahead of G 1 you have 1 girl and 3 boys. So, 3 is at least 1 more than 1 because 3 is 2 more than 1. Similarly, ahead of G 2 the number of girls is 0 and number of boys is 3. So, again this condition is satisfied. So, basically what we are saying is that we put 2 girls first and then 3 boys. How many such arrangements are there? So, these 2 girls can be permuted in 2 factorial ways and these 3 boys can be permuted in 3 factorial ways. So, we can permute 2 girls in 2 factorial ways and 3 boys in 3 factorial ways. So, total number of such arrangements is 2 factorial into 3 factorial. We have applied the multiplication principle. So, this is 6 into 2 that is 12. Now, let us look at another arrangement in which you have. So, this is one arrangement. In the second arrangement what we do? We have a girl first, then a boy, then a girl and then 2 boys. So, let us look at this. Ahead of G 1 you have 1 girl and 3 boys. So, the condition that the number of boys ahead of every girl is at least 1 more than the number of girls ahead of her. This condition is satisfied. Similarly, ahead of G 2 we have 2 boys and no girl. So, again this condition is satisfied. Again if you look at the arrangement of the boys and the girls. So, among girls you can have permutation, that means, you can have G 2 here and G 1 here and B 1, B 2, B 3 also can be permuted in 3 factorial ways. So, again boys can be permuted in 3 factorial ways and girls can be permuted in 2 factorial ways. So, total number of permutations or arrangements is 3 factorial into 2 factorial, that is 12. So, what we have done? We have counted in which 2 girls occupy the first place and the 3 boys occupy the next 3 places. Second option we have taken in which there is a girl followed by a boy, and then there is a girl and then followed by 2 boys. Let us look at the third possibility. We can have a girl first, and then you can have a boy, then you can have another boy, then you can have a girl, and then you can have a boy. Again, let us look at this. Ahead of this girl there is a boy, then there is no girl ahead of it. So, condition that the number of boys is at least one more than the number of girls ahead of that is satisfied, and with respect to G1 certainly the condition is satisfied, because only one girl is ahead and all the 3 boys are ahead. And again you have 3 factorial into 2 factorial, that is 12 such arrangements. Another possibility that you can have is you can firstly have a boy, then the 2 girls, and then the 2 boys. Again let us look at the condition. Ahead of the first girl there is 1 girl and 2 boys, ahead of the second girl there are 2 boys and no girls. Again the condition that the number of boys ahead of every girl is at least one more than the number of girls ahead of her is satisfied, and again because of the permuting of the girls and the boys, here you can have 3 factorial into 2 factorial, that is 12 such arrangements in which at the first place you have a boy, 2 girls, and then there are 2 boys. The next one you can have boy, then there is a girl, then there is a boy, then there is a girl, and then there is a boy. Again if you look at the conditions, ahead of G2 you have 1 boy, ahead of G1 you have 1 girl and 2 boys. So, again the conditions are satisfied, and these can be permuted into 3 factorial into 2 factorial, that is 12 such arrangements are there. So, if you look at the total number of arrangements, total number of such arrangements. So, we have 12 into 5, that is 60. So, we have used here the addition principle as well as the multiplication principle for finding out the arrangements of 3 boys and 2 girls in a particular way. Let us consider a particular word. Okay. Consider END EANOEL. All right. So, if you count, there are 9 letters here. So, firstly we ask how many words can be formed by considering all letters of this word. Total number of permutations here. So, here if you see the total number is 9. So, you have 9 letters, out of which if you look at E is repeated 3 times, and if you look at N, then N is repeated twice, and then you have 1 D, 1 A is there, and then you have O and you have L. These are appearing once. So, if you look at that how many permutations, so total arrangements is 9. So, if you have 3 things which are identical and 2 things are identical, so you will have 9 factorial divided by 3 factorial into 2 factorial. Of course, one can simplify this. There will be total 30,240 such arrangements. Now, suppose we fix that a particular word occurs there, in how many words the segment, say a particular segment N E N D E A occurs. Now, out of this 9 letters, if we choose these 5 letters which have to necessarily appear, then the total number of things that are there, that will be only 4 plus 1 5, because these have to appear together. So, here the number of objects is 5, that is E N D E A, and then you have the remaining 1 E, 1 O, 1 L and 1 N. So, the number of arrangements is 5 factorial, that is 120. Similarly, let us see another restriction here. The number of words starting and ending with, say, letter E. How many such letters will be there? So, if we fix the first and the last, then we are left with 7, out of which n is appearing twice. So, now we have 7 letters remaining, in which n occurs twice. So, the number of arrangements will become 7 factorial divided by 2 factorial, that is 2520. In the same one, let me put one more restriction. In how many words letters A, E, O occur only in odd positions. Okay. In order to look at this one, so there are three E's, okay, and total odd positions, they are 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. So, in 5 places A, O and 3 E's. So, these are also now 5. They can be placed in how many ways? 5 factorial divided by 3 factorial ways. Now, in remaining 4 positions, L, D and 2 N's, these are also 4, can be placed in 4 factorial divided by 2 factorial ways. So, you have total number of such words, that is equal to 5 factorial divided by 3 factorial into 4 factorial divided by 2 factorial, that is 240. that is, there are 240 words in which the letters A, E, O will appear in odd positions. Let us look at another variation of it. The number of permutations in which none of the letters D, L and N occur in the last 5 positions. So, D, L and 2 N's must appear in first 4 places, that is fixed now. The number of ways will be 4 factorial divided by 2 factorial here, and remaining A, O and 3 E's can be placed in last 5 positions in 5 factorial divided by 3 factorial ways. So, the total number again becomes 4 factorial divided by 2 factorial into 5 factorial divided by 3 factorial, that is equal to 240. So, the number of permutations of the letters of the given word in which D, L and the 2 N's they occur in the first 4 positions and the remaining occur in the last 5 positions is again 240. Let us take up another problem which has appeared in the joint entrance examination. This is also from one of the JEE question papers. In how many ways 5 boys and 5 girls can be placed in a queue so that 1 all girls stand consecutively, or exactly 4 girls stand consecutively. So, now out of the 5 boys they can be anywhere, but if the all the 5 girls are together then they can be treated as one unit. So, therefore, the total number of objects can be 5 plus 1 6. So, they can be placed in 6 factorial ways. However, these 5 girls they can permute among themselves. So, it will become 5 factorial. So, if all the girls stand consecutively, they can be treated as one unit. So, total number of permutations of 5 boys plus 1 unit is 6 factorial. However, the 5 girls can be permuted in 5 factorial ways. So, the total number of such arrangements, that will be 6 factorial into 5 factorial. So, of course, that is a large number, 86,400. Now, suppose I look at that out of this 5, exactly 4 girls are together and one girl is at some other place. That means, it is not in the same sequence. Let us see in how many ways this can be done. So, if 4 girls are together, then they can be treated as a single unit. 4 girls who stand consecutively can be treated as one unit. Okay. So, 5 boys and these 4 girls can stand in 6 factorial ways. And these 4 girls can also be permuted in 4 factorial ways. Further, these 4 girls can be permuted in 4 factorial ways. Another thing is that out of the 5 girls, we have chosen 4 girls to stand together and 1 girl is separate. So, that can also be chosen in either 5 C 1 or you can say 5 C 4 ways. The girl who stands separately can be chosen from 5 girls in 5 C 1 ways. So, let us look at the arrangements now. You can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That is the 4 girls treated as one unit and 5 boys, they are standing in 6 factorial ways, and then there are other counting also. So, let me just say that they are placed here. So, for example, this could be these 4 girls, then this could be the next 5 boys, or this could be 4 girls and this could be 5 boys, or this could be that 4 girls and this could be 5 boys, etcetera, or this could be 4 girls and these could be 5 boys. Now, this one girl which is remaining can stand here, 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 here or here. That is, there are total number of possibilities 7. However, since we have the put condition that exactly 4 girls stand consecutively. So, if these are 4 girls, then the remaining girl cannot be here or it cannot be here. That means, it has to be placed in the 5 places. Similarly, wherever those 4 girls occur, adjacent to that both the sides, that girl cannot stand. So, remaining only 5 possibilities are there for placing that last girl here. So, the last girl can be placed in 5 ways, as it cannot be placed adjacent to previous 4 girls. So, now if we apply the multiplication principle, the total number of arrangements. So, that is 6 factorial into 4 factorial into 5 C 1 into 5. So, of course, one can evaluate it, it is actually 4,32,000. Here you have seen that how the counting has been done. We say exactly 4 girls stand consecutively. So, they are treated as one unit. Now, one girl is remaining. So, we consider it separately and there are 5 boys. So, 5 boys plus this unit of 4 girls, that becomes 6. So, they can be placed in 6 factorial ways. Now, these 4 girls can themselves permute in 4 factorial ways. Now, another choice is coming because one girl is separated. So, out of the 5 girls, the number of ways of choosing that girl will be 5 C 1. Now, the placing of this girl has to be in such a way that it is not adjacent to the unit of 4 girls. Now, that unit of 4 girls wherever it is placed. So, there are actually 7 places where one can put this last girl. So, leaving aside 2 adjacent to the set of 4 girls, you have only 5 available options. So, that is the number of ways is 5. So, now the total number of ways we have applied the multiplication principle 6 factorial into 4 factorial into 5 C 1 into 5, that is 4,32,000 is the number of ways. So, let us look at some more permutation and combination problems. So, a player and I have named Lisa chooses 13 cards from a deck of 52 cards. In how many ways she can choose so that she gets 2 kings and 2 queens. That means, the card which are displaying king or queen. So, now there are 52 cards. Out of the 52 cards, you have 4 king cards and 4 queen cards, and then remaining cards are 44. So, if we are putting this restriction that out of these 13 cards which are selected, 2 must be kings. So, that means, they have to be chosen from these 4. So, that number will be 4 C 2. Similarly, we are also getting 2 queens. So, again by multiplication principle, this will be multiplied to this number 4 C 2. Now, this also places the condition that the remaining 9 cards can be any of the cards from the 44 cards. So, that is 44 C 9. So, this is a simple combination problem, because these are unordered arrangements here. So, we have just counted straight away that there are 4 kings. So, out of that 2 are chosen in 4 C 2 ways. There are 4 queens, out of that 2 are chosen in 4 C 2 ways, and out of the remaining 44 cards we choose 9 in 44 C 9 ways. Let us take another problem of combination. In how many ways 3 balls can be chosen from a set of 3 red, 4 blue and 2 green balls, so that all are of different colors or all are of the same color. So, we are choosing 3, and if we say that all are of different colors, that means we must choose one red, one blue and one green ball. Now, the number of ways of choosing that can be 3 C 1 for blue, 4 C 1 and for green it is 2 C 1. So, this number is straightforwardly 24. Now, in the second part we are saying that all are of the same color. Now, since we have chosen 3 and if they have to be of the same color, then either they should be must all be red or all must be blue. So, if all of them have to be red, then this will become in 3 C 3 ways, that is simply 1, or all of them can be blue, which can be chosen in 4 C 3 ways. So, that is 1 plus 4, that is 5 ways. Obviously, you can't have them to be green, because only 2 green balls are there. So, if you can see carefully, in the first part we have applied the multiplication principle, and in the second part we have applied the addition principle here by adding the 2 possibilities, that is all of them can be red or all of them can be blue here. There are more such permutation problems. So, all permutations of the word last are arranged according to English dictionary ordering. What is English dictionary ordering? That is, if we look at the letters here A, L, S and T. So, the first word will become A, L, S, T, and then next one will be that starting from A, and then you can say A, L, T, S and like that. That means, the exact dictionary ordering has to be followed. What is the position of the word say salt in this ordering? So, that means, if we write all of them together, that is basically there are 24 such words here, because all of them are distinct. So, 4 factorial. In these 24 words, what is the position of the word salt? So, firstly we consider the words which are starting with A. How many such words are there? The number of words starting with A. So, that first word is A, and in the remaining you have L, S, T, and they can be permuted in 3 factorial ways. So, total number of words will become 6. Now, the number of words starting with L. So, if we keep L in the first place and then A and S T can be permuted again in 3 factorial, that is 6 ways. Then the next one since we have according to the dictionary ordering, you have A, L, S and T. So, therefore, the next one will become S. Now, if you look at the dictionary ordering, A will be the next one coming here, then L and then T. So, that means, the position of salt will be 13th in this list. So, that is 13th position here. In the next lectures, I will be considering some more principles of counting, some occupancy problems, and then we will solve few more exercises of this nature.